I'm starting to see a lot of people getting pretty discouraged by the competitive system. How's it going, everybody? Force here, and today I want to talk about competitive play and the skill system, and how a lot of people are getting kind of frustrated nowadays. Now, beyond the fact that there are many aspects of competitive play that are still broken, with the skill gain and loss, we've got the lever problem, and then there's just the sudden death mechanic, which thankfully is going to be getting removed next season. There's the rating system, and how it doesn't really feel good. As it stands right now, we've got a pure skill rating system, meaning that you're made to find your specific spot and pretty much stay there. Whether that spot's in the 40s, 50s, 60s, etc., unless you are significantly improving compared to your peers, you won't be moving much once you find your spot. In fact, the way the system is built, in order to climb, you'll eventually need much higher than a 50% win-loss ratio, because you'll get to the point where wins reward very little skill rating, but losses take away a significant amount. What this ends up doing is making it so that players need to win 2 to 3 games just to make up for a single loss. And this is where the perception of this unfair system is coming from. If you're winning 2 to 3 games for every loss, you're clearly playing well, so shouldn't you be going up in rating? Well, yes and no. Were this a ladder, all you would need is a 50% win-loss ratio to go up. But this isn't a ladder. Instead, it's a skill rating system based on if you won, who you beat, and how you played. It's basically a simplified number to represent your skill, not a ladder to climb. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration is coming from. The current system isn't a progression ladder, and people like progression ladders. In fact, that was Blizzard's initial plan. Back in the beta, competitive play consisted of divisions and tiers. It was a traditional ladder system. Every season, people would start as challenger, and you could work your way up to advanced, expert, and eventually master. All you had to do was win more than you lost. However, they got feedback from the beta player base, which was admittedly small, saying that they didn't like the system. It felt too grindy, and it didn't showcase the actually skilled players. And while that all may be true, I get the sense that they may also have not been representative of the majority of the players we see today, and that it may have been a mistake for them to scrap the system entirely. I think Blizzard had a good idea with their initial system, and that a combination of the two could please both the hardcore and the more casual players who also are interested in competitive play. Because let's be honest here, it's not as simple as just being dismissive to those who like competitive but also want a sense of progression. And I think it's fair to say that if you win more games than you lose, it makes sense and it's understandable to see a progression representative of that. So my suggestion would be for them to go back to their old divisions and tiers. Make it so that every win or loss grants a set number of points, and that if you win more than 50% of your games, you're going to keep climbing. If you lose more than 50%, you'll keep going down. You won't ever get to this point where you have to win 2, 3, 4, 5 games just to make up for a single loss. And then once players are on top of that ladder, then have it turn into a pure, constantly fluctuating, skill-based rating. Sort of similar to what Hearthstone does with their system. It's a traditional ladder climb all the way to the top, at which point you then get rated compared to the rest of the player base who's up at that highest tier. And then this will go up and down with every game. If you win or you lose, who you beat, whatever. That combination of the two, I think, could please both sides of the player base. And like I said, we can't just be dismissive and say, well, everyone who doesn't like the current system should just go play casual play, go play quick play, because it's different there. I think there's probably a lot of people who like competitive because it is more serious. People are more interested in winning and doing compositions that actually work, but they don't like the fact that they don't ever feel like they're progressing. And this is coming from someone who's actually doing all right in the current system. I'm currently at rank 57 or 58, which according to Master Overwatch, this puts me in the top 15% of players based on my skill rating. I mean, for me, that's phenomenal. The fact that I'm even in the top 15%, hallelujah. I'm not gonna ask for much more. I'm not a professional player. I'm not winning any tournaments, but I'm doing better than a lot of other people. But I can certainly understand where some people are coming from in not really enjoying the way the current system is presented. And I wouldn't mind seeing a change. I would actually be fine with it, because I too like climbing a ladder. I wouldn't mind, hey, I'm winning more than 50% of my games, I'll keep going up. If I eventually hit that highest tier of players and I get grouped up with all the super pros and all the MLG guys, and I realize I'm at the bottom of that echelon, well, that's fine, because at least I climbed the ladder, and that that felt good. And I know it's kind of a nebulous thing. We're talking about feelings of people and how they're looking at a progression system and whether or not it's fair or fun to engage with. But I think the bottom line is that we need to be understanding of the fact that progression systems are really important in video games. Beyond the game itself and people enjoying playing the game, a lot of times these sorts of systems keep people engaged in it. And if a lot of people are feeling that the current system isn't fair or it's too frustrating to engage with, it might turn them off from playing entirely. And you might just be dismissive and you might just say, well, that's stupid. You either like the game or you don't. But again, there is psychology that goes into it. The same sort of psychology that goes into the development of MMOs like Blizzard's very own World of Warcraft to try to get people these feedback loops that they want to keep engaging with, to try to get them psychologically to keep playing. It's a whole bunch of stuff that we're not really trying to go into here in this video, but there is an element of that to every video game that you play, and it's one that we shouldn't just outright dismiss. All right, guys, that is going to do it for me here today as we talk about the current competitive skill rating system and how it may be too frustrating or too hardcore for many players, and how a different system people might enjoy a little bit more. I, of course, as always, want to know what you guys think about this, your thoughts and opinions on what I said on the topic in general. Let me know in the comments section below. Hope you all have a fantastic afternoon, and until next time, I'll see you later.